Welcome to our 14th quest. Doctors say it will be your guide. We dive deep in parallel design, a symphony of flowing data, where pipeline thoughts and VLIW precision raise the processor's grand vision. A new horizon!
Welcome, everyone. Before we dive deep into the fascinating world of deep learning for intrusion detection, let's first lay a critical foundation. Think of this topic like building a complex house. You need the right tools and a strong team. In computing, those tools are often libraries for parallel and distributed tasks. Why? Because deep learning models are huge, and detecting modern intrusions is a lightning-fast job. We need speed. This series of slides simply introduces the idea that we'll be talking about how to make our computers work together efficiently to handle these massive, complex tasks. Keep this idea of speed and teamwork in your mind as we move forward. This slide introduces 5 key strategies that fall under a fancy term, MIMD, which stands for Multiple Instruction, Multiple Data. Don't worry about the name right now. Just think of it as different ways to multitask on a huge scale. Imagine you have 5 separate construction crews all building different parts of the same building at the same time. That's MIMD. The strategies listed, pipeline, math coprocessor, VLIW, multicore, and hyperthreading, are essentially 5 different approaches to achieving massive parallel processing. We're going to look at each one, starting with pipelining, to understand how computer architects make your devices so fast. Let's zoom in a level, all the way to the machine code. This is where the real magic happens, at the instruction level. Think of a single-core processor like a very smart factory worker. This worker isn't just executing one task after another. They're incredibly organized. They can reorder tasks, pipeline them, and even predict what the boss, the program, will ask for next. That's aggressive branch prediction. This is what a single-core superscalar processor does. This level of parallelism is the secret sauce that has allowed chip speeds to increase dramatically over the decades. It's about optimizing every single tiny instruction to shave off milliseconds. Pipelining is one of the most important concepts in computer architecture. I want you to think of a car wash assembly line. You don't wait for one car to be completely finished before the next car starts the first step, right? While the first car is drying, the second car is being rinsed, and the third is being soaked. That's a pipeline. In a CPU, this is how we handle instructions. Fetch, decode, execute are the stages. The output of the decode stage immediately becomes the input for the execute stage. We also see this in graphics processing, where raw data goes through rendering stages. The key takeaway: stages are interdependent, and they work in sequence to keep the whole system busy and highly efficient. To give you some historical context, let's look at the Intel 486. This was a pivotal moment in CPU history, the predecessor to the famous Pentium. This chip was a great example of the evolution of pipelining. It showed how chip designers started breaking down the stages even further, in this case, often using a 2-stage decode process. It demonstrates that the principles of efficiency and parallelism we're discussing aren't new ideas. They've been continually refined over decades to give us the powerful processors we use today. Let's solidify the core idea of pipelining. It's all about splitting the work of an instruction into smaller stages: fetch, decode, execute, and having all stages working in parallel. This allows the processing of multiple instructions to overlap. The crucial result? The ALU, the arithmetic logic unit, the brain of the CPU, is always busy. A busy ALU means maximum throughput and speed. This is why pipelining is fundamental to high-performance computing. Your main CPU's ALU is fantastic at whole number arithmetic, but when it comes to very large or very small numbers, what we call floating point arithmetic, it needs help. That's where the math coprocessor comes in. In the past, pre-Pentium era, this was a special, separate chip designed specifically to handle those complicated math operations. It's like having a dedicated accountant next to your general manager. It specializes in complex calculations, freeing up the main CPU to focus on its general tasks. This concept of specialization is what allows modern systems to crunch massive datasets so quickly. Speaking of specialization, let's talk about the GPU, your graphics processing unit. Today, the GPU is the spiritual successor to the old math coprocessor, but on a massive scale. We now understand the GPU as a SIMD, single instruction, multiple data, math coprocessor. What does that mean? It's perfect for tasks where you have to do the same simple calculation on thousands of pieces of data simultaneously, like rendering pixels for a game, or in our case, training a deep learning model. The CPU shifts off these math-intensive operations to the GPU, which is connected via a PCI slot on the motherboard, transforming it from just a graphics card into a general-purpose parallel workhorse. Next, we look at VLIW, or Very Long Instruction Word. This architecture emerged in the 1980s and was a prevailing philosophy by 1998, even overshadowing competitors like RISC and CISC for a time. The core idea is to find a way to take advantage of large amounts of instruction-level parallelism by making the compiler, not the hardware, do the heavy lifting. VLIW is basically computer architecture's attempt to pre-package operations for maximum speed. We'll see how this is related to modern GPU design shortly. Here's how VLIW gets its name. Instead of a standard instruction, it groups multiple independent operations, say 8 32-bit instructions, into one massive very long instruction word. The genius of this is that the processor doesn't have to waste time figuring out what to do. The compiler has already done the analysis. The processor simply takes the long word, breaks it apart, and hands each operation to the correct functional unit, all in parallel. This simplifies the hardware and speeds up the fetch, decode, and execute cycle dramatically. This slide highlights the architecture. VLIW processors use multiple functional units that share a common register file. The crucial detail is that the work is done statically by the compiler. The compiler checks for all data dependencies and schedules the parallel execution before the program even runs. This means the hardware is simpler, and the speed comes from the intelligence of the compiler. It's a design trade-off: simpler hardware, but a much more complex compiler. Let's weigh the pros and cons of VLIW. The advantages are clear. Reduced power consumption because the hardware is simpler. Simpler hardware leads to simpler data dependency checks. However, it's not perfect. Complex compilers are needed, which are difficult to design and optimize. The resulting program code size is increased. It requires a larger memory bandwidth. This shows that in computer science, every powerful design is a trade-off. We'll see how these principles re-emerge when we look at GPU architecture. Moving away from single-chip designs, let's talk about multiprocessor systems. This is a server-level design where we physically put 2 or more complete processors, CPUs, on a single system board. Each processor has its own dedicated resources, such as its own memory slots. Here, 12 DIMM sockets per processor. This is all about scaling power by adding more complete, powerful units. These systems are the backbone of data centers and are designed for tasks that require absolute maximum computational resources. Now, let's look at another clever trick: simultaneous multithreading, SMT. This is a brilliant way to use the empty space in a single core's execution pipeline. Think of it this way. If one thread is paused, waiting for a piece of data, say a floating point operation, the core doesn't just sit idle. SMT lets another independent thread jump in and use the core's integer units. The operating system and applications see each simultaneous thread as a separate virtual processor. It's important to remember this is not a true parallel processor like a multi-core system, as it still shares the single core's resources. It's an optimization technique to maximize the utilization of a single core. The most famous commercial name for SMT is hyperthreading, which is Intel's implementation. When you look at your computer specs, you might see a number of physical cores and a higher number of logical processors or logical cores. Hyperthreading is the technology that divides one physical core into two or more logical processors. This allows a single physical core to handle multiple threads simultaneously, significantly boosting a computer's ability to multitask and run multiple applications smoothly. To wrap up, this slide gives you a fun, intuitive way to understand the complex hierarchy of a computer system using analogies. Compiler, the team of PhDs meticulously planning and optimizing the build process. Operating system, the warehouse crew, the managers, making sure resources are available and processes are running. CPU, the efficient clerk, handling complex sequencing and packaging one product at a time. GPU, and finally, the 10,000 preschoolers adding numbers. This analogy beautifully captures the GPU's power. It's not about complex single-threaded speed like the CPU. It's about doing massive amounts of simple, parallel work simultaneously. This is the heart of why GPUs are essential for deep learning. See you next time as we continue exploring, speeding up our path to knowledge. And this will be the final lecture in this series.